Thanks everyone for joining. My name is Jesse Hauser. I'm an ERP specialist with AccuNet. We're excited to be doing webinars again. As most of you are probably aware, Dynamics SL is nearing the end of its life cycle. The last version was 2018. So now's a really good time to be looking at moving to the cloud. And today we're going to be comparing Dynamics SL to Acumatica, which is a newer cloud-based system that AccuNet works with. I want to go ahead and introduce our presenters. We have Becky Kukis, who's a Director of Business Systems Consulting with AccuNet. She has over 30 years experience working with Dynamics SL and 7 years working with Acumatica. She's been with AccuNet for 7 years, prior to which she was a controller of a Cleveland area nonprofit. She also spent 5 years on the board of the National SL User Group. And then we have Mike Coman, who's a senior business systems consultant. He's been working with AccuNet and Acumatica for the last 9 years. Prior to that, he worked as a controller and CFO in the nonprofit field. So before handing it over to Becky, who will go over the agenda in detail, I just want to highlight that we'll be taking questions in the chat box. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them there, and then we'll be doing Q&A at the end. We'll address those at the end, so please feel free to utilize that. With that, I will turn it over to Becky.
Hello, everyone. So our agenda today is we're comparing Dynamics SL to Acumatica. And the areas that I'm going to highlight are the platform, comparing the platform, functionality, the features, pricing differences, all the different training options that you might have with each of these systems, and the future of each of these ERPs. Then we will present a short demo of Acumatica outlining the key differences. Okay, so the differences in the platform really is that SL is an on-premise or hosted server application. Dynamics SL uses an aging client server architecture. So when you upgrade, you're required new servers, you need to update your Windows and your SQL versions. Acumatica is a web-based in the cloud, hosted or on-premise ERP. Most of our customers have chosen to be web-based. And if you choose to have Acumatica in the cloud, which you probably would do it that way, there would be no need to purchase any new servers or upgrading when you're upgrading. Okay, so both systems do allow multi-company or single databases per company. So whichever way that works for you, whether you're sharing vendors, customers, or chart of accounts, either system is accommodating. Both systems are actually SQL databases. Some of the difference in basic functionality. Well, Dynamics SL usually requires the purchase of additional products like CRM, Project Server, SharePoint, several different add-ons like e-banking. But Acumatica has a lot of these things built in. Like one is the CRM is built into the product. It has a fixed asset module. It does allow for ACH and banking imports. In SL, some of the things you can do is copy and paste from Office products, but the interaction between most of the Office 365 isn't really fully integrated, like Power BI or Flow. Those are things that really work outside of the system. So in SL, there really aren't any workflows at all, really, or any built-in Power BIs. But a few years ago, Microsoft added Flow and added Power BI, so you could use those apps and get to your SL data, but they really are outside of your system. And all of that is really fully built in Acumatica. Some of the additional features. Dynamics SL doesn't have any dashboards, okay? You can have custom menus or links that you can create within SL to outside sources. But unless you utilize Power BI, you will not have any like graphical displays of information like a dashboard in Acumatica. Both systems have the ability to have document attachments. We will see that in our demo where how documents attachments works in Acumatica. While SL has quick query to pull data from specific areas in SL, Acumatica has a thing called a generic inquiry, and it's much better than the quick query in SL. What the generic inquiry, you can use it to create reports and dashboards from that query. You can link to several informations within different modules and actually get back to the source documents that actually make up that query. So think of it as quick query if you could link to things, which I would love that if SL had that, but it doesn't. Some of the things that SL people are used to is being able to add user fields within the system, and you're kind of limited depending on what screens you want to add a specific field, but there is unlimited access in attributes in Acumatica. Acumatica also has user fields, and sometimes that's the best way to utilize Acumatica is just have some extra user fields in a screen, but they also have this wonderful thing called attributes. And it's similar to people that use Project will know what I mean, is there's this code file where you can keep track of the different types of tasks that you might have, different types of projects, or you want a code to link to a customer ID. It's sort of that similar the way it works, but attributes are really easy for actual users to create and utilize. And it's unlimited how many you can have. And it's all through the system, general ledger, AR, AP, all the way through to project and fixed assets. Everywhere through the system, you can have attributes. Now we're going to compare a little bit about the pricing. The pricing of Dynamics SL is basically many years ago, you bought the product and now you probably pay a 20% maintenance each year. And then whenever you buy licenses, you have to buy them based on users, and it's a concurrent licensing model. And what that means is how many users you need in the system at any given time. So if you know, sometimes you get people kicked out because you bought 5 user licenses and you have 10 users, but not usually everybody's in, but now there's a bulk day where everybody's in and now you got to kick people out. Well, you don't have that issue in Acumatica. Acumatica pricing is based on a consumption, which I'll talk a little bit more about that, but you also have unlimited users, okay? So Acumatica is a SaaS model, which means software as a service. So the pricing is based on consumption, and the consumption is really based on the on commercial transactional data. So your commercial transactional data will determine what your pricing of Acumatica will be, because it is based on how much space you're going to need on these servers that are in the cloud and how much power you're going to need, how many transactions are flowing on a daily, monthly basis. That's all been put into place to figure out what pricing will be for you. And not only that, they only have a 3% increase per year on this license agreement. So the only time that that would go up is if you purchased another module or your company was really expanding, which is great. Otherwise, you're never going to be buying more users. So what's nice about having all the users in, anybody you want, is you can invite your board. All of your employees can go in, subcontractors, vendors, customers, anybody, right? Anybody you want to allow in. You can control what they see based on their role. You can have specific dashboards based on roles. You can also control their security by user, and you can configure different things depending on who's going to be in the system. Okay. Now, training. Currently, SL no longer has any type of training options directly from Microsoft. AccuNet still does a lot of one-on-one or group training with our customers. We always have, but now there's nothing but out there really from Microsoft, and that's mostly YouTube, and it's mostly like little quick how-tos or maybe something about an old version, but there really isn't a whole lot out there. But Acumatica has 100% free training on demand, and for anybody who wants to build their skills, right? So that's the nice thing about it. It's constantly updating that training based on the version that you're on. So you're getting up-to-date information for all your users. And of course, AccuNet is there also to help with training. All right, so now we're talking about the sad end of Dynamics SL. I've used the product pretty much my whole work life. And so for me, coming to an end is very sad. It has been a great product. We love it. I still love it. I wish it was going to the cloud too, but it's not. So we at AccuNet looked for products that were close to what we thought our SL customers would really enjoy and really the functionality that they need. And you know, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, I might have been skeptical, but man, it is really, Acumatica has just really exceeded my expectations, okay? So Dynamics SL is the last version of 2018, will end support completely by 2028, okay? So in my next slide, I'll show a little bit more about the actual life cycle based on the different versions. But what Acumatica is doing is they're basically coming up with a new version every 6 months. They're constantly growing the functionality and all the new features. So you have a future-proof product with Acumatica. So the next slide here is the life cycle of Dynamics. As you can see, if you're on 2011, extended support ended last year. Now, the difference between extended and mainstream. Mainstream support just means you'll get annual year-end updates and hot fixes regularly. Okay, so on 2015, you're still going to get, oh, and actually you're not. Your mainstream support is ending on 2018 and 2023. So 2015 is already lost mainstream support, but we do have extended support to 2025. And extended support just means we can engage Microsoft for your support as needed. And they still have people. As long as you're paying up to date on your maintenance, they still will help us, right? And regardless of what version you're on, 2011, 2015, 2018, we are still, AccuNet is still there for you, okay? But we just want you to be prepared for the end of Dynamics. All right. Product lifecycle of Acumatica is going on even beyond 2026. This is just as far as they have planned so far, but they already are planning, you know, look at all these different releases over the next few years. So there's going to be 2 major releases per year, usually every, you know, in the middle of the year and towards the end of the year. And then they also provide updates and minor fixes all through those versions if needed. So there's constant updates and new releases. All right, Michael, we are ready for the demo. So if after the demo you require more information, and we can provide you with a deeper demo of the features that you need for your business, but Michael's just going to demo what we think are some key features that would show you the differences between SL and Dynamics. And Acumatica, sorry. Go ahead.
Thanks, Becky. My name is Michael Coman. Good afternoon. So what we're going to go through is some of the highlights of Acumatica and the comparison to SL. When you sign into Acumatica, this is generally the screen that you have access to, and it's dashboards. And this particular dashboard is the controller dashboard. But as you can see, the product comes with a variety of dashboards that we can customize to meet the needs that you have. AP clerks, sales managers, if there's anyone in payroll, or if you are a project manager. The information is here, and it allows you to see the important things that you want to see every morning or every day. You can easily come back to this screen, and it shows an update. As you just saw, it just refreshed. So updated a moment ago. Every time you sign into the screen, it'll update, and it's pulling live data. So this information is in the computer as you go through it every day and is updated every time you come back to the screen. As you can see, there are a variety of widgets, they're called, and that's just the displays. As we can see here, it might not apply to everybody, but it does apply to the people that need this particular dashboard. So let's see how a widget is produced. Becky talked about query. Acumatica uses a generic inquiry. They're kind of similar. They're both queries against the dashboard, against the database to bring information into the screen. So it's live. This information is updated as information is put in. This is a list of the summary. This is a list of the accounts receivable, and we're looking at overdue amounts in this widget, and it gives us that information. As you see up here, it adds tabs. Much like SL does, it gives you a new screen. And it is easy to duplicate the screen in your browser or in the screen itself. It will allow you to open in a new tab. So it gives you that kind of flexibility to move between screens. This being a software as a service means that you can access it wherever you have internet access, and you can use any browser that you can access the internet with. That means if you have people that use Macs, Safari will reach out and give you Acumatica. If you have people who use Linux machines, those machines can also reach out and touch the internet, so you can obviously look at Acumatica. Those of you who are in project or use time cards, you might have been using the web app in SL. This is the screen that comes with Acumatica. It's part of the product. It is a phone or tablet view, so I can reach the internet with my phone. So this is my dashboard in Acumatica on my phone. I can look at opportunities and tasks. I can do my time card. I can do my expense report. I can review customers. I can review projects or quotes. So that's kind of the way that it's set up. Being software as a service, it does allow you to reach it from anywhere that you have internet access. Now, these queries give you the ability to drill down. This customer, Art Cages, has 2 outstanding invoices, and they're both listed here. Acumatica also has the ability to take these inquiries and produce and show you the information that it used to produce them. In this particular case, Art Cage's invoice, if I want to take a look at it, I can do that here, and I can also look at the customer. So here is the invoice that is currently outstanding. What you'll notice in every screen, in every input screen in Acumatica, that there are 2 icons. This is an icon to allow you to enter notes, so that you can have, you can carry on with any data that you might have that customers that you want to pass to the next person who looks at it. We can also attach files. So if you got an email that from this customer about this invoice, you could also attach that. You could also attach any quotes that you generated for it, and they would be part of this invoice. Acumatica also does, I've also set this up to draw the customer ID. So I want to look at the customers so that I know who to call. I can look at the contacts to see who I need to get a hold of to get this invoice paid. I can also look at who my salesperson is who was working with this customer. Once again, up here is the same information. You can click notes, and you can also click files to keep attached. You'll also notice that in each line there are notes and files that you can attach per line. In this particular instance, it's contacts. So if you wanted to keep a copy of their business card, you could easily do that here. One of the neater things about Acumatica is it also allows pop-up notes. So every time I see this customer, I could add a pop-up note and it would give me some information. Customer is on hold. Okay. Now, every time I pull that customer up, I will know that that note will come up and tell me that they're on hold. And you can also see that there is a note by the delineation of colors. If you receive invoices through the mail, email, or they come scanned into your system, you can also attach them to transactions that you might have. So that's how Acumatica Sides and Quick Query both allow you access to the data in your database. One of the things that Acumatica does also, it has a search function. SL has had a pretty good search function in the past, well, in the last 2 versions, but Acumatica's search function is for everything. So let's look up that vendor, that customer. We have no menu items, but I have a list of their transactions. And it will show me all of their transactions for that particular customer. There are no files attached and there are no help topics, but it will show me the transactions for that customer if you want to look them up that way. It will also go to the pages that you want to use. So I will look up opportunities and I'll see menu items, and that will show me all the mentions of opportunities in the on the screens. So if I go under marketing here, I'll see where the opportunities are listed. You're also able to customize your screens so that you only show the ones that are important to you. You're able to tile them and show a short menu, but if you want to go to the larger menu, it will show you everything that's available in that particular screen. So this is another generic inquiry, and it also has the same information over here where it is the files and the notes can be attached. So let's take a look at one of these opportunities. I'm not sure, let's see here. If I go back, you can see where the information is also available here on the side. We can look at invoices, sales orders, quotes, services that are all pertaining to this particular order, this particular opportunity. Opportunities are used in the CRM, or the Customer Relations Management Database, to give you the ability to project sales and to keep track of information on each sale. Let's see here. These are activities that are associated with the sale. Activities are also part of accounts payable, accounts receivable, customers, and projects. So if there's something to do with one of these opportunities or projects, you can easily create a task and assign it to someone. So this is a sales opportunity. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say, Becky, please take a look. Sorry, my typing. And I'm going to say when I want it to be done by. I want her to look at this by tomorrow, and I can ask for her to do it. And it be part of her dashboard. This would appear as a task that needs to be completed by her, and she would be able to expound or review it, and I would know when she's done with it when she marks it complete. So that gives us the opportunity to use each other and pass information back and forth. Now on my dashboard, I don't have activities or tasks because I'm the controller, but what I can also do is put up approvals. Like here, I have payments that need to be approved. So if I had 20, 25 accounts payable, checks to be cut, I could go here and approve those to be paid. Let's see here. Let's go back to the opportunity. So that's how activities work, and it gives us the opportunity to work together. In Acumatica, you are also able to create emails and send them from the system. You can do that on customers and projects and opportunities. So if you have a sales opportunity that's available to you, you can easily track all the emails that are coming back and forth to this one place. All the information will be there, and you will have the most up-to-date information to spread among your team. You're also able to create other, and these are all customizable, where you can create phone calls or work items. One of our customers says that they want to know when an item is sold. So their activity is opportunity sold. And the reason they want that is because it's going to appear on somebody's dashboard. We're able to take these activities or stages and create the dashboard because we can create the generic inquiry to pull that information. We're also able to customize that to the person who needs to see it. If this salesperson needs to see that, the owner of this project, he would. If the sales manager wants to see it, he can see them as they come in daily. Let's see. Becky talked about user-defined fields. They're called attributes in Acumatica, and we can define them by class ID. So in this, for products, we want to know what they're looking for, but as we move forward, they might, I will pick another one here, service. They will have different questions that need to be answered for the opportunity. We can also do that in project, and we can also do that in customers. So customer might not be a customer to start with. It can start out as a lead, or it can also start out to be a business account that you want to call, or what do I want to say here? I want to say that you want to refine them a little further. Acumatica also allows you to customize each screen. You can customize them for everyone, or you can customize them for yourself. I want the attributes to appear. I want the values to appear here. Well, it's not going to let me, of course, now that I say that. But if I want to do it here, I can adjust the screen. Also, we don't give away stuff, so no free items. I can do that and save it, and the free items disappear from my screen. So you're able to customize the screen to the user, that the user's needs for their job description. Let's see what else. What Acumatica is trying to do with at the very top of the screen is use artificial intelligence to say what the next step should be. So they're saying in this opportunity that we're going to close it as one, we're going to create a quote, or there might be a variety of other things that we need, but they're trying to use artificial intelligence to tell you the next steps. As we move forward, let's talk about quotes. So there are two types of quotes in the system. There's one for sales quotes, which are product or non-stock inventory items that you're selling to customers, or there's a project quote. And that information can be presented to a customer, or it can be used to track how the sales team is doing. Cancel. and that information would pull from the details if they're available, and we can keep track of the number of quotes or the number of times that you ever refined the quote to that customer. Let's see here. And we're also able to keep track of who you've talked to at that business by the use of the activities here. So, sorry. Our team is updating the security. Of course, during my meeting, they're doing that. So, from the business account or the customer, we're also able to keep track of who the contacts are in that business so that we know who we can go to get specific things done or need specific information. Some people might need the invoices, and some people just might be made aware of information. Now we have mass emailings that go out of here that can give you that. We can also keep track of other people that are associated with this business. Say we got a referral from one of our customers for this business, and we want to make them aware of it, or how our opportunity is going, or how we want to give them a reward. We would easily be able to track them through this screen. Let's see. So we have two types of quotes. Let's see. So one of the things that happen in opportunities, accounts payable, accounts receivable, is that there's a workflow associated with it. And in opportunities, we're able to customize that workflow for whoever, for your business needs. This is how the workflow works. If it's lost, it can be opened and it can be shown that it's lost. We can also show that it's lost from a new opportunity. So you're able to customize this workflow to give you the ability that helps you work your business. Okay, let's see here. So let's look at accounts payable just for a minute. As you saw, we do have a list of reports that are available. We are able to customize those or recreate reports as needed. There is a report writer that comes with the system, and there is also the ability to customize these reports. Let's see here. So if we go to a new bill, you'll see that in accounts payable, we might have very much the same screen. The notes and activities and files are listed here. If you have the need to keep copies of the bills, you can attach them here. You can also do the same in sales orders to create sales orders. If you get a quote, the quote will be attached by the system, but if you get an acceptance signed, you can also import that back in and keep that part of the sales orders. As we talked about, you are able to also change these screens as needed and customize them as you see fit. These are the available columns that we can use, but I don't use them in this particular setup. These are the columns that appear on the screen, and we can customize them as we need to. Let's see. Also, we keep track of approvals. And we do 2 levels of approval. You can do an approval for dollars or just a general approval. That either way works. Now, the difference that you will see from SL is this isn't a batch system. Each individual transaction is going to go into the general ledger and create a general ledger entry, page by page. So if we go to one that has been closed, we'll be able to see the details. And this has been posted to the general ledger already. Okay. And there's the information that was used. So let's see here. Let's take a look at the financial statements. This particular setup is multi-company. I can do intercompany transactions here, and they will show up in the general ledger for the companies that need to be, and we can easily do the due tos and due froms. Let's take a look at the profit and loss for a second. Yeah, that's not good. That's not a good year. Sorry. There we go. We're able to pull that kind of information up. And when you're in these reports, if you want to drill down, you click on the blue data, and it will give you the information. Let's see what else we need here. We also have sales orders. ACH comes with the product. It is part of accounts payable. It uses the PLAID system, PLAID, and you can incorporate it with most U.S. banks, or most U.S. banks have already incorporated PLAID. So you can upload and download or do bank reconciliations daily if you need to. Especially, we were talking about it earlier today with one of our customers, and they get large checks through their ACH. And they have every night they're going to download their bank transactions automatically, and it'll be available to them the next morning when they come in to review and make sure that their cash is right. So we have dashboards. We've reviewed those. As we've talked, as Becky was talking about, security is at the top of our concerns, and being that Acumatica is based in the cloud, they are using, Becky, I think it's Amazon, is that right?
Yes, it's Amazon Web Services.
It's Amazon Web Services. So you're backed. What you're seeing is that Acumatica has at least 3 sites that your data is backed up on, plus the site that you're using. Amazon has not been hacked to date, so we're very fortunate to have that. Excuse me, but those of you who have been hacked understand how important that is. We have had 2 customers who use Acumatica have been hacked in their internal systems, and the only thing that wasn't touched was their accounting. Acumatica was not bothered at all. So if you have any questions or comments, please put them in the chat window and we'll answer them as we move forward. Thank you very much for your time. Hopefully this is something that you're interested in or would like to see more of. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Michael. We're going to go ahead and jump into Q&A. I'm just going to read off the questions that we have, and in the meantime, feel free to drop any other questions in the chat and we'll get to them. So I'll just read off what we have, and then Mike or Becky will jump in. So first, we have, when completing invoices, are we able to email from Acumatica and also have a printout copy without jumping through extra hoops like SL?
Definitely. So when we create purchase orders, as long as it's set up within the purchase order, we can email from the system. So this will take a few minutes. Also, emailing from accounts payable, when an ACH is cut, you will be able to send an email through the system that tells them what invoices were paid and the dollar amounts that were paid for each. but we're able to email purchase orders and print them. This particular vendor doesn't have an email address on file, but we'll email the purchase orders and print them here.
I think she was asking about invoices, customer invoices.
Oh, okay. Either one. So let's look at invoices. Same thing. So in here, we also have the same kind of setup where we can print the invoice or email, and you do them both from here. Now, if you print them, you can also send them from here if you want to look at them first. So if you print it, you can use your browser and print the document, or you can send the document. So let's do that. I don't have this set up to send, but this is the email. It was given to us as the point of contact. A lot of people have AP at accu.com. And this is the information that comes with the standard boilerplate. You are also able to choose which template you want to use in the email. You can also decide who you want it from, whether it's from AR at accu.com or whether it's from you individually. And the file's attached here. So if we go here, we see this. Now we have set up on ours, so we have set up the system to go out every 5 minutes and email the customers. And that works for us. But some people will be talking to someone and they want to send the email automatically. And you can set that up to do the same thing. Email it as soon as you release it. Hopefully that answered your question. If it didn't, please ask. Or can we take people off of mute now? And if they have questions, they can ask.
I don't know that we have that ability.
Okay.
Okay, so we have another question. Is there any ability for employees to view only their pay stub?
Oh, definitely. That can be done at the security level, and they would only be able to see the information that they can pull up in the inquiry. We can mail it to them, and we can also limit the things that they have access to things that use their username or their employee ID. That being paychecks. It can also be accounts payable bills or projects that they're involved in, or opportunities or quotes that they use.
Okay. Next question. Mentioned that ACHs would be able to be entered. Is this something that can be directly entered into AP as if a check were wrote, but instead it was an ACH?
Yes, you can do that as a quick check, or you can make it a checks and or you can annotate the check in the check system, new payments here, or you can gather them up and send them to your bank. Either or, depends on how your bank works. One of the interesting things about Acumatica is that it allows you to import your bank statement every day. So if you have a bill that is automatically deducted, as long as you have the invoice in, which you would want to have probably as a recurring invoice. One of our customers has their rent deducted from their checking account every month. They would put in recurring invoices for every month, and then they would import their check transactions, and the check would look at the date, look at the amount, and say that these match up. Would you like it to clear? And it would automatically clear the system.
Okay, great. Next question. Is there an AR collections function built into Acumatica?
There is not an automatic function, but there is the ability to track who you've talked to. The last time that you emailed them, like we talked about with the activities reports, we can keep track of that information here under activities, and we can also keep track of the notes and things that have been said.
Okay.
So that also, I guess that also would depend on your balances. So your AP age. So the AP age on this is MC, which is multi-currency. I know that most of you don't have that, but we also have the period sensitive reports that you're used to seeing in SL.
Okay. Are you able to show us fixed assets, Mike?
Sure. So the fixed asset system allows you to take assets from accounts payable and import them into the fixed asset system. So we're converting asset purchases to assets, and this is a list of assets. You're able to carry up to 2 books per asset. So if you have a tax book and a straight line book, you can do it that way. We're also able to use well, I wouldn't say as many, because there's no way to ever know how many different ways to depreciate something. But we do have a listing of 12 different ways to depreciate assets. But the assets come over, they include when they've been purchased, who they were purchased from, any warranty information that might be present. And as we've talked about before, we're able to add notes and files to the particular asset so that you have that information available for you. Let's see here. Oh, I'm sorry, fixed assets. So we're showing when the asset was purchased, when depreciation started, and the net value of the asset as it goes along. And this is the depreciation that's happened in a monthly. You can also track the locations and other information that you might have. But to create, yep, and this is a list of reports. So.
Awesome. Okay. Well, I think that's all the questions we have for now. If anyone has additional questions or follow-ups, please feel free to reach out to any of us. We'll show you our contact information again at the end here. Becky, if you want to go ahead and take the screen back. All right, so there's our contact information. Please feel free to reach out to us. We'd love to hear from you. Just a few things to end on before we wrap up. The recording of this webinar will be available on YouTube. We'll be uploading it in the next few days, and then we'll send out a link to that. So if you want to share it with anyone who would find it useful, please feel free to do that. If you're interested in Acumatica, please reach out to Becky. What we'd like to do for you is an on-site discovery where we can get a better understanding of what your business needs in your next ERP. And then from there, we can do a tailored demo that's more specific to your company, so you can see all the features that you would use and dig in a little more. So please reach out to Becky if you're interested in that. And feel free to reach out to any of us with any questions. Then we'll be having another webinar on June 14th, and it's really kind of a part 2 to this webinar. It's going to be on preparing for a cloud ERP implementation. There's a lot you can do ahead of the project to make it go much smoother as far as preparation and knowing what to expect. And I got to look at what Becky has prepared for that, and there's a lot of valuable insights. So don't miss that. We'll be sending out an invitation in the next week or so to register for that. So we hope to see you then. With that, I think we'll wrap up. Thank you everyone for joining. We appreciate it. We hope you found it useful, and everyone have a great rest of your Wednesday.